Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Poddywood, the podcast where we talk about movies and all kinds of movie-related things. I am one of your co-hosts, Steve Hester, and joining me, as always, is...
That would be me, Andrew Roger Carson, the other guy. New hair, same glasses as last week, same snappy demeanour.
And we are not alone this week. Joining us all the way from the Big Apple, would you please give a great big Poddywood welcome to Jonas Barnes. Welcome back again, Jonas.
Me? Thank you guys so much. I'm coming back to not trash movies. That's this is new ground for me on Poddywood. I'm not coming back just to shit all over movies. So that's great. This is gonna be fun.
Well, you know, if you want to just spit some venom out there, just go for it. And speaking about spitting out stuff, we're going to be spitting out some tracks about last week's What's in the Box, which was Hustle and Flow from 2005.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we escaped 2007 for once.
Yes, 2005 is a story of a pimp who then wants to break into the music business, and I think the best way to describe it will probably be a hip-hop version of Rocky.
That's a fair point.
That's an interesting way to explain Hustle and Flow.
Well, because if you think about it, he's in a less than desirable profession. You know, Rocky was a enforcer for the mob, and then in this movie, he's a pimp, and then he wants to get into the music business. He comes up with this idea after being given a keyboard in exchange for some drugs, and then starts to lay down this track. And the whole movie is about him being able to build this music career. Terrence Stamp plays the lead character, DJ.
That would be Terrence Howard, not Terrence Stamp. That would be a
Did I say Terrence Stamp?
That would be a way different
Oh my God,
movie.
that would be such a different kind of film, wouldn't it?
It ain't over for me. No, it ain't over for me.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want Terrence Stamp as a drug dealing pimp that goes to hip hop. Now I want that.
Do you want to know something? With God's honest truth, I actually redid the lyrics for that song in an English way, so that was a slip of the tongue doing Terrence Stamp.
That's hilarious.
It's rather difficult as a ruffian, as he is endeavouring to secure his financial situation. You see, he is currently in the red, due to his lady's ill repute acting most disagreeably.
Oh, that was aggressively white.
Thank you.
That was...
You will bow before me.
That was weaponized Caucasian. That's what that was.
Terrence Howard. And he basically is indistinguishable in this role from his usual kind of demeanour, particularly if people are used to seeing him in Iron Man, because he is properly gritty and grimy in this, and he talks with such a thick Mississippi kind of... Is it Mississippi?
Dude, Memphis, Tennessee, Steve.
Tennessee, thank you. Oh,
You can tell he watched this movie
Jesus
really
Christ.
closely. My God.
yeah, I didn't do geography. It's fine.
Dude, okay, first of all,
film.
I'm the one that has the American school system here, so if anybody's going to say that we don't have geography, especially world geography, that's going to be me, all right? Our school system does not give a shit about the rest of the world. They're just like, listen, we're going to give you the history of your town, and that's it.
All I know is it's somewhere in the south. It's really, really hot, and everybody don't talk like that. Yeah.
No, they do not. He says mine. He says mine.
Mine.
He says that a lot.
Man.
Yeah, it's like a little vocal tick. He just keeps saying.
What you looking at, man? Man.
But it was a movie that I was expecting to be a lot darker than it actually was in terms of tone. And particularly as it was going on, I started to realise that it had a feel of that Dolomite Is My Name movie that Eddie Murphy starred in on Netflix about 2 years ago. And
Same
then I realised... Same
Yeah.
director, yeah. It was the old guy who seemed to be missing teeth that gave him the keyboard that I thought, you were in that film. And there's the way that the scenes are cut together and the musical stings of it all, and the way it just had this kind of feeling that it just put me in mind of that. So yeah, you've got Kevin... Is it Kevin Richardson?
The guy, the producer?
Anthony Anderson, you
Yeah,
mean?
it's Anthony Anderson.
Anthony Anderson. God, I'm doing well tonight, aren't I?
All right, now who's the skinny white? Who's the skinny white guy? All right, who is it?
Shit,
Don't you look at your goddamn phone? Don't you do it?
I'm not looking at my phone. I'm looking at my file. DJ Quails.
No,
Yes.
DJ Qualls, not BJ. DJ Qualls.
I said DJ. I didn't say BJ. We're not at that stage of the evening yet.
You also said quails. It's not a fucking bird. Come on.
It's Quall. It's fucking quails.
I don't see an I in that, do I? I don't see it.
So anyway, the whole movie then builds and culminates as he's trying to be able to put this demo together and put it into the hands of a guy called Skinny Black, who's played by Ludacris. And it then gets to a point where the movie kind of lost it for me, because I thought the actual ending itself felt a little bit cliche, a little bit kind of film student kind of thing. It's like at the end of Clerks. Famously, there was a deleted scene where Dante was going to get killed, and then one of the execs, I think at Miramax, said, "No, cut it off.
Yeah. You
Have it end with them saying we're closed."
You had to wait for 2 more movies for that.
I've still not seen the third one.
Well,
Now you don't need to.
Now you know.
Smith just lost me a long time ago. It's got that weird build up to something which just feels like it's there to have an emotional climax, but it just feels a little bit too cliche for my liking on it.
I can tell you why the ending was the third act was the way that it was, though. It's because it was supposed to have a sequel. So the movie is actually based on the story of the director. Like, the director himself, this is basically his story. So the third act was the way that it was because there was supposed to be a sequel to it that was going to be a follow-up to what happens in and out of prison. So that's what was supposed to happen. It just never did. So it was kind of like, it was one of those things where a lot of movies now, they'll have that stinger at the end of a movie after the credits, where it's just like, this is going to happen. And then if it doesn't happen, you're just like, whatever. It was like a 5-minute scene or whatever the case. Whereas this, because of the time of when the movie was made, they weren't doing like after credit stingers or anything like that. So if they wanted to set up a sequel, it pretty much had to be in the third act of the movie, where it was just like, and we're going to be back later, you know? And that's what happened here.
Yeah, I would have liked them to have been a bit more solid with that, but if that's what they were aiming for, then you can't really blame them. But I mean, what would you have called the sequels?
I don't know. I mean, it probably would have just been Hustle and Flow 2. I don't think there would have been any kind of any kind of addendum to that, because if you have a sequel where he gets out of prison, where he gets an actual career, where he becomes like the thing that he wanted to be, it can become a story. By the way, if you hear a siren in the background, that's just New York talking to the podcast, just so you know. Like, that's...
Hello, New York City!
Yeah, it's just...
I finally made it to New York City!
Lady, shut the fuck up!
But no, that's kind of what it is, because it would have been a story of like him trying to overcome, becoming a monster. Because ultimately that's what, kind of could happen in that situation. You have somebody that comes from the background that he does. All of a sudden he gets famous. All of a sudden he becomes rich. All of a sudden he becomes Skinny Black. And so I think the second movie would have been kind of that story. Like trying to not become that, monster, so to speak.
Yeah. Too hustle, too flow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have done my research over the course of the week. So, as we mentioned, this was kind of based on the story of Craig Brewer. Now, Craig Brewer's name, obviously, Hustle and Flow was his breakout movie. He went on to do Dolomite Is My Name. He also did the controversial for the time Black Snake Moan.
Fantastic movie.
Which is a fantastic movie. And a movie that is not fantastic called Coming to America, which is probably the most deflating comedy sequel you could ever have received during the pandemic.
I can't bring myself to watch it. I'm sorry, I can't.
It's a rough ride.
It's right up there with How High 2 and Half Baked 2. Two other comedy movies that never should have been made.
And were never watched.
Nope.
Terrence Howard, I think this is probably one of the greatest roles that he's ever done. And when you consider the fact that Terrence Howard interviewed 123 pimps as research and 78 prostitutes, and he lived in a brothel for a month to get into character.
That was
That's his
actually
excuse.
before he got casted for the movie. He just did that, like just
No, honestly, I'm researching a part. Yeah.
Yes, although we could do our regular feature of the fuck meter, but this one has a meter all of its own. The main meter. 221 instances of main.
Well, okay, because the only other meter we could do is not allowed because all three of us are white. So, like,
That's true. There's some lines we just don't cross.
that's true. Yeah, you don't cross those lines. You keep those lines exactly where they are.
And I can also tell you that this project was rejected by pretty much every single studio over many, many years. And it actually took John Singleton of Boys in the Hood fame, financed this movie on his own back to get it done. And the moral of the story here, this movie broke the record for distribution rights sales at Sundance, selling for $9 million to Paramount and MTV.
Holy shit!
Nice.
Yeah.
The budget was only $3 million, right?
Yeah.
So it
exactly.
sold for $6 million over.
Well, actually, the budget was $2.8 million. It went on to make $23.5 million.
That is a hell of a return on that one.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned about Terrence, obviously, initially he did turn the role down. His excuse was he didn't want to be typecasted as a pimp. But then he was kind of talked around to it, saw the character a bit deeper, and it's ended up being possibly what I think his best role that he has ever done. Taraji P. Henson in there as well, which is a nice link for you Empire fans, as Terrence Howard and Taraj reunite in the series Empire.
That could almost be considered a follow-on to this one, then, couldn't it? Really, same character, same characters, maybe.
Kind of, sort of, kind of.
Maybe in Witness Protection got renamed, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe that's the
Another-
sequel to Hustle and Flow. It's them in Witness Protection. We make folk music
Yeah.
now. Like,
Black folk music.
yeah.
Even more unbelievable, the song It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp ended up at the Oscars.
You know it's hard out here for a pimp when he tryna get this money for the rent, for the Cadillacs and gas money spent, because a whole lot of bitches tryna shit.
Like when that song came out, it was everywhere. Like,
Yeah.
it was one of those songs that, like, there's movies that have songs that come out of them that you kind of always, you know, associate with it. Like, going back to Rocky, Eye of the Tiger.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there's Rocky, you know. This song, when it came out, it shot everywhere. Like, it was on every radio station that played anything even close to hip hop. It was music videos all over the place. It was in, like, just everything. You couldn't not hear that song during that year. It was huge, absolutely huge.
Yeah, and one of the best scenes in the movie is the creation of that song, as well as I absolutely love the Whoop That Trick scene.
Yeah,
I think it is such a fantastically organic scene that really just elevates the entire movie. I've watched that scene Singularity so many times on YouTube. It just puts a huge smile on my face. For the starters, I think the casting is really great. Nice little turn from Paula J. Parker.
and then Taryn Manning plays.
Taryn Manning.
Yeah, she plays Nola.
Yeah, big hi to Taryn. I'm going to tag you in this one.
And to be honest with you, like she absolutely takes it home in this part too. Like she acted her ass off in this movie.
And I think I definitely wanted to throw in there. I love Amy Vincent's cinematography in this movie. Mm-hmm. I think it is so gritty and grounded and fabulous. I'm going to give her a good shout out there. That's my kind of report on the behind the scenes interesting facts on Hustle and Flow. How are you going to end it, Steve?
Well, I could spit out some more lyrics but I'm not going to. However, what I will leave you with before we move on to the anniversaries is 2 things which I found while researching alternative names for pimp in ye olde English, and there are 2 which
Jesus
stuck
Christ.
out more than anything else that I can possibly think of. 2 phrases.
Southern dandy.
Yes. The first of all is to take a turn among the cabbages.
Okay.
Okay?
Is that on offer?
Not from me, it's not. And this one I think is wonderful. It is an Irish toothache,
Irish toothache.
which is slang for an erection.
Hilarious.
So,
Hilarious.
anyway, yes.
You
I'm
know,
going to get feedback from Bill saying that's not accurate.
I want
Come on the show
to
and prove us wrong, Bill.
I want to mention
Get that on
something
IMDb.
about this
Yeah.
movie. There's one thing I want to mention about this, and this is, to me, this is something that is a sign of a very good movie or a very well played part. I love the movie. I hate DJ. Like I absolutely loathe him, which is like, it's one of those things, like when you said it was kind of like Rocky, to me it's like the opposite of Rocky in the sense that I'm rooting for Rocky. And in this one, DJ was such a piece of shit that, like, the good things that happened were awesome to see on screen, but at the same time, it's like, you're a monster. Like, you're an absolute monstrous human being. You're not going to make a fun-loving pimp. Like, that's just not going to happen. And if you do, you've done the movie wrong. So the fact that Terrence Howard, who, in my opinion, is one of the more likable actors in Hollywood, played this part to the point that he did, where I was, like, actively angry at his character, like, that's such a good, like, such a good turn of acting there, because you know, he did such a good job of it. And also, like, when the music came into play, when he started making the track and when he started actually doing everything, then it was like, it was cool. Then it was like, you know, I'm liking the music, but even if I'm not liking him the person, but yeah, his acting in that, like you were saying, may be his best part ever. And I can't think of anything that comes even close, to be honest. And he's an amazing actor.
Okay, that's a good point to finish on Hustle and Flow. Is it deserving of its certified fresh status, Steve?
Yeah, why not? I honestly don't think I probably will see it again now that I've kind of watched it.
I'm happy I revisited it. It took me years. You guys made me do this, but I'm happy I did. So I'm happy I did.
Well, with that out of the way, it's time to look at some anniversaries.
We watch them again all of the time, or we get them on Prime for free. But we only know how old they are when we learn their anniversary.
Anniversaries, the section of our show where we revisit films that Steve also hasn't seen, or in all honesty, we try and get at least 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
I think there's only been 1 week where we got all 3 that you had seen.
I mean, we did all right last week. We had 2 of them, possibly 3, but yeah, definitely 2. So, what do we have this week on the docket, Andrew?
Okay, well, we're going to be pushing it this week because I don't think you've seen any of them. But we'll go for the first one. Can you believe, Steve, 30 years ago this week, Indecent Proposal was released?
No, I haven't. Yet again, I've seen all the countless memes about it, all the parodies that have happened in pop culture and all the rest of it.
What do you want, man?
One night with your wife for $2,000.
But have I seen the film? No, I haven't.
No. Well, Indecent Proposal was, I guess, the kind of forgotten film of Adrian Lyne, because every time you say Adrian Lyne, Indecent Proposal is not a movie that instantly jumps out at you as an Adrian Lyne movie. I'd say Jacob's Ladder, for sure. It's a piece of fucking art, that movie. Mm-hmm. Flashdance, which a lot of people don't initially realize that he was the director of, and Fatal Attraction as well, which he directed.
I've seen that one.
Oh, sorry, you've seen that one.
How are you guys feeling about Fatal Attraction being turned into a series?
I'll not watch it anyway.
Yep.
Because it's a series.
Yeah.
You know? That's too much commitment. That's too much commitment. Does that story really need to be told in a series? No.
It does.
It's like all the Disney Star Wars stuff. It'll be done in 2 episodes. The rest of it's just going to be padding.
Yes.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, you're right.
Well, Indecent Proposal is the infamous story of 30 years ago when Robert Redford offers Woody Harrelson $1 million if he can sleep with his wife, played by Demi Moore. And obviously the big question that was all asked of every single couple back in the day, would you do it? And they'd be like, 500 quid. But Indecent Proposal does have a link, as every movie does every week, when it comes to the on-set scuffles. Dun,
Oh,
dun,
not another
dun.
one.
Yes. Third week in a row, we have a movie in our anniversaries that has involved a scuffle. Well, in this one, there were on-set fights between Adrian Lin and Demi Moore.
No.
Why am I not surprised?
Well, no, I mean, Demi Moore had more of an artistic vision of her character, and Adrian Lin was very hesitant about it. But apparently, he even admits to this day that actually she was right.
I was hoping it was a fight between Woody Harrelson and Robert Redford, where he's just like, I didn't tell you could actually fuck my wife. This is part of the movie. What are you doing? Like,
You fucked my wife? What? You fucked my wife?
There was certainly something along the lines there I'll get to in a second. What we've got to imagine here, that this movie, in the Woody Harrelson and Demi Moore roles, this movie was originally envisioned as a Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman project.
Okay.
Which obviously I think they shunned it for Far and Away, so they really did themselves out of the movie that made the most money that year.
Yeah, between that and Eyes Wide Shut, they never really did well together as couples on film, did they?
Yeah, I like Days of Thunder. You know, I get guilty pleasure out of that.
Yeah, but that was
movie.
basically when they met.
That's a fair point.
Eyes Wide
Woody
Shut's
Harrelson-
really their only quote-unquote couple movie. And that one, yeah.
It's a
Not-
coupling movie.
It is not Kubrick's best, is what I will say.
Woody Harrelson actually walked off the movie Benny and June to do this movie, which resulted in MGM suing Paramount because of the breach of contract of Woody Harrelson, basically poaching him to come and do this movie. When it came to the sex scenes that everyone was talking about, a porn star actually doubled Robert Redford for his porn scenes.
Hilarious.
But Woody by name, Woody by nature, he was
Yeah.
like, no, I'm doing this. And not only that, he had to do it to Bruce Willis's wife while Bruce Willis was on set at the time.
There you go. Yeah.
You fucked my wife?
Woody Harrelson only took the role after Charlie Sheen turned the role down, apparently.
Wow.
Well, Charlie was still incredibly bankable as a leading man back in the day. But apparently, yeah, he did turn the role down. There's a very small Billy Connolly cameo in this movie as well.
Oh, shit.
Playing himself, doing a stand-up routine on stage. And apparently there's a story that was told that Robert Redford apparently kept missing his cue because he'd get distracted by Billy Connolly's jokes that he was telling on stage.
Beautiful.
And completely missing his
Oh,
cue.
love it.
So he became a Billy Connolly fan after that.
I always tell my friends that Billy Connolly is like the European version of George Carlin. And they
Yes.
immediately go find him and they're like, oh, fuck, you were right. And I'm like, yeah, dude, Billy Connolly's a legend.
He's our national treasure.
Yeah.
If you actually read the novel of Indecent Proposal, you will notice exactly how Hollywoodized this story was. Originally, the Woody Harrelson character was originally Arab or Jewish. He was Jewish, and the Robert Redford character was actually an Arab. So basically,
Okay.
there was
That is a
more of a
different
kind
kind of
of
indecent
intrigue.
proposal. That is a way
Exactly.
different kind.
So the book was more kind of controversial and built on the differences between like the Jewish and Arab
Yeah.
people, and this offer to obviously sleep with your wife for X amount of money.
Yeah, that opens up a whole stream of really, really uncomfortable racialisms that...
Here's
probably
a
a
question.
wise choice to be edited.
Here's a question to put you on the spot, Andrew. How would you recast that movie if it was loyal to the book?
Jeez, that's a really good question. Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost.
That's just an
Getting
indecent
offered.
proposal as it is.
Yes, getting offered by Michael Che.
Weekend update.
Emphasis on the up.
Yeah.
This movie was a ridiculous hit. So the budget was $38 million. The film made $267 million.
Nice.
It was a huge hit that catapulted Woody Harrelson from White Men Can't Jump all the way to a bankable star that goes off and does Money Train. This movie actually does hold a record. In Italy, it holds the second biggest ever opening for a Paramount movie on an opening weekend, still to this day.
Silvio Berlusconi a fan, was he?
I guess so. Standouts for me from the movie as a fantastic John Barry score. And John Barry gets it right every time.
Oh, yeah, I love John Barry.
Demi Moore and Woody Harrelson, the chemistry's there. Robert Redford is really skeezy in it. And the only kind of thing that really falters is when Woody Harrelson is not acting around Demi Moore. He seems like a completely separated character from the rest of the story whenever he's not sharing the screen with Demi Moore. But, you know, it's still a loved movie. It's not a terrible movie. I went to the cinemas on a date to see this movie.
You see a lot of films with dates.
And there were different girls every single time.
I've noticed
This
this trend here.
specifically is you were really gambling on that date on that one. Like,
I was. I remember that they stopped the film halfway through because someone was throwing Maltesers at the screen.
They weren't peeling bananas very, very quickly.
No, they weren't.
No.
But yes,
it's a weird movie to throw candy at. It's a weird one.
Yeah. Indecent Proposal, 30 years old this week, Steve.
Okay. Right, what do we have next?
Okay, next we're going back 20 years. This is the teeth grinder for you, Steve, every single time.
Usually, because it reminds me of how old I am.
Yes,
Go on.
It is the age gauge. 20 years ago this week, Anger Management was released.
Fuck. Really?
No.
Yes.
Now
it's
I'm old.
Adam Sandler making movies for Revolution Studios and Happy Madison Productions. Back in the days when Jack Nicholson was still making movies. Directed by Peter Segal, not Steven Seagal. Peter Segal.
Way different anger management movie.
Steven Seagal is Anger Management.
Needs anger management.
Yes. It'd be Anger 2 Management, I guess. Peter Segal, comedic director who directed Get Smart, which I know you have seen, Steve.
Yes, I like that one.
Also directed The Naked Gun 33 and a Third. Not David Zucker. It was Peter Segal who directed that movie. But
Not my
weirdly on the
favourite of the
DVD,
three,
it's David Zucker and the others that do the commentary, and Peter Segal is nowhere to be found. He also directed My Spy with Dave Bautista.
My Spy was a shockingly good movie for what it was.
It was. Produced by Richard Mirisch, no less.
Hi, Rich.
He's watching this week saying, that's my movie. And also, Peter Segal also directed Second Act as well, which you can Google so everyone knows what it is. Adam Sandler going into anger management. I believe his anger management teacher is Jack Nicholson, who is absolutely nuts. He is Jack. Swivel-eyed lunatic, as you would call him.
Is Jack Nicholson doing his best Nicolas Cage?
Yes.
Or is Nicolas Cage doing his best Jack Nicholson? Jack was doing it first.
No, actually, not in this one. This is the first time Jack Nicholson has done this kind of crazy.
Yes.
This one is very Nicolas Cagey crazy, like over the top.
Yes, this saw Jack Nicholson swapping his golf club for a baseball bat, going absolutely crazy in this movie. Speaking of crazy in this movie, can I just point out, Rudy Giuliani has a cameo in this movie as himself.
Oh dear.
Yuck.
It's a reason enough to kind of hate this movie is the fact that he does this, and he also comes out with the line of "You can do it," which is obviously what he was saying to Donald Trump for an entire term.
How is it that he made that line worse than Rob Schneider did?
You can do it all night long.
Like, how did he That is baffling to me. Like, I didn't think that would be possible. And now we have Rudy Giuliani being like, I can make that worse. I can do it.
Yes. Well, also in this movie, you get a cameo from John McEnroe as himself during the anger management class, in a nice little in-joke there. One thing I will say that I did notice when I watched the film this week, and I was like, oh shit, I have to Google this and find out if it's actually the same thing as I saw, and it is. If you actually want to see the bronze bell and structure of the monastery set from Anger Management, it is currently on display in the Japanese Garden at the Huntington Library in Pasadena.
Oh.
Hello, Pasadena. And you can actually go there and see it.
Okay.
This movie was originally rated R, but got seriously edited down to become the typical PG-13 Adam Sandler style. Jack Nicholson took the role. Can you guess whose advice he took on taking this role? One person said, you've got to do a movie with Adam Sandler.
Was it his doctor that was prescribing him pharmaceutical medication?
No.
Like,
this is a tremendous throwback, Steve, to our very first episode.
Oh, Jesus, I've been drunk since the very first episode. Was it Kathy Bates?
It was Kathy Bates.
Damn, son.
I could see that, actually.
Yes, she had worked with Adam Sandler on The Waterboy.
Yeah, Bobby
I think she
Boucher.
worked with him again. Yes, and apparently she's the one who told Jack, you've got to do a movie. You've got to do this movie with Adam Sandler.
She also worked with Jack Nicholson in About Schmidt.
Yes.
Yes, that was our first episode. That was the first movie Steve had to watch on What's in the Box.
Oh, wow. He really threw you to the nudity wolves
To
on
the
that
jacuzzi.
one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
God bless Kathy Bates for doing that. Fuck.
You know the Jaeger was out beforehand during that scene. Oh, dear God.
I'll go on a line here and say this is one of Adam Sandler's less annoying movies. Out of the stuff that includes Billy Madison, which I'm not a fan of, or Jack and Jill, which I'm not a fan of.
He was more or less all right up until the very early 2000s. Things like The Waterboy, Happy Gilmore, Little Nicky, even to an extent. I don't even mind that, even though he talks like an absolute idiot throughout the whole thing.
Little Nicky's fun, but like, yeah.
Yeah, but then as soon as the 2000s came around, he realized, oh, wait, I can just do all these movies with my mates where I can go to Hawaii and just dick around and... Right. We need to write a film. Just put some like fart jokes in on page 3. That'll do it fine. That's what he's doing.
Are you saying that you didn't mess with the Zohan? Is that what you're saying, Steve?
No, I did not mess with the Zohan.
I still say one of my favorite guilty pleasures of all time is That's My Boy.
Oh, sure.
Purely for the fact Vanilla Ice steals the entire movie as himself.
Yeah, it's an awful movie, but it's fun. Like,
yes.
I'm surprised. Now, were you done with the cameo appearances in that movie, Andrew?
I have a feeling you're going to pull one out that I'd forgotten to mention.
Yeah, I am, because it's related to the first one. Woody Harrelson.
Of course.
He's playing a drag queen sex worker and also a security guard. He moonlights. He moonlights as a security guard. He mostly does the drag queen sex worker.
Full uniform, but with like the drag queen head on. Is that what he does in the movie?
It's kind of, yeah. So like there's a part in the movie where they're stuck on the bridge, on the Brooklyn Bridge. And Adam Sandler is, he's having an anger problem, and Jack Nicholson calls Woody Harrelson and gets him in the car with him and makes Woody Harrelson like make a proposition to him or something like that, and Adam Sandler freaks the fuck out because, transphobia, yay. That's basically like, the whole thing is just Jack Nicholson being like, now this gay guy's gonna hit on you and he's wearing makeup, try not to freak out. And then Woody Harrelson makes it funny because he's Woody Harrelson and he does a great job of it. And then later on in the movie you see him come back as the security guard. and he's still got like a little bit of the rouge and stuff on, and Adam Sandler's like,
Okay.
"Oh yeah, it's you," and like they're friends and everybody's cool at the end of it. But like the one cab scene is just, it is very 2000s. It's very, very 2000s as far as the humor goes.
And of course, we have to mention, with it being anger management, and so far the link to the previous film in the anniversaries, anger management star Charlie Sheen in the series, of course, which was also the first set that I could probably call a second home for a first number of years, because I was practically there all the time when I was in LA. How much of a hit do you think it was?
A medium hit.
Just
okay.
Before you give your full answer, I also have to say that Marissa Tomei was in the movie, and Marissa Tomei is amazing. So
yeah, but if she didn't get as naked as she did in Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, then
no, that would have catapulted the movie right into fresh territory.
Oh yeah.
Yes. The budget of the movie was $75 million.
Most of that was probably going to Jack Nicholson as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And also filming in New York. Those were the
yes. Yeah, that definitely does it. The movie made $195 million.
Okay, so not bad. About medium hit, like I said, yeah.
Like I said, I think Adam Sandler's great. I think John McEnroe's turn is fantastic in it. And I had a real bit of a kind of man crush on the music of this movie that's done by, get his name right, Teddy Castellucci. So
Bless
he
you.
did the score of the movie. Yeah, thank you. And it's actually really memorable. So 20 years ago this week, it was anger management.
All right, so that leaves us with one more. We're going 10 years?
We are doing the 10 years, Steve.
Oh, okay. What have we got for 10 years?
Well, I know it's something you haven't seen, but I threw a bit of a question mark because I thought there's one actor in this that I thought automatically Steve would watch it because of this one actor.
Okay.
But 10 years ago this week, the movie 42 was released.
Oh, shit. I know what movie that is.
Oh, no. Wait, is this the really, really shitty Farrelly Brothers one?
No. 42 was the biopic of Jackie Robinson, the first African-American to play Major League Baseball. And it was played by Chadwick Boseman, the late, great Chadwick Boseman.
No, I've not seen it.
So this was directed by Brian Helgeland. I fucking said that name wrong, I know it. Is it Brian Helgeland?
I think it's Helgeland.
Is it Helgeland? Okay.
I think so. Brian,
This
if
was
you're out there, get in touch with us and tell Andy that he's pronounced it wrong.
But in the meantime, I'll pronounce it wrong. This movie was directed by Brian Helgeland, who was the director of such movies as Legend, starring Tom Hardy and Tom Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
A Knight's Tale,
Craze.
starring as the Craze, yes. A Knight's Tale, which was the movie that no one really admits to liking, I guess.
I actually like that movie. I had to say it quietly though.
Yes. The Mel Gibson starring Payback, and also,
Seen that
I
one.
guess, Payback, the alternative cut. And, of course, he was the writer of LA Confidential, which you are still yet to see, Steve, considering you're an LA Noire fan.
Dude, LA Confidential, and you know what? Payback is also a good movie. Like,
I've seen Payback.
Mel Gibson
I've seen
kissed my
versions of
whole
Payback.
ass, but that was a good movie. Like,
Yeah. There's two different versions of that movie. It's like Dominion and Exorcist at the beginning.
yeah.
Brian Helgeland, I love the story of how he's discovered. Apparently, he was standing outside of Warner Brothers with a card saying, we'll write for money or something like that. And apparently an executive kept seeing him every day. And I said, okay, fine. What have you got? And apparently that's how he got his start at Warner Brothers. But getting back to 42. You know your baseball, Steve.
Do I?
I'm sure Jonas does, because he's American, and it's like their football, I guess.
I actually also live about 8 blocks away from the Jackie Robinson Highway. So
Yes, you do. You do. God, I completely didn't even think of that.
I'm sorry. Can we just go back to the point where apparently I'm a baseball fan?
No, I said Jonas is probably a baseball fan. I said,
Because
are
it's
you
American.
a baseball fan? Because it's American.
I know, but you said Steve.
knows your baseball. He said that you know your baseball.
I don't.
You don't. Of course you don't. You don't, especially don't know anything about films about baseball unless it's Major League, I guess.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Willie Mays Hayes, yes. Okay, the thing about 42, the number 42 will never be worn again. Bud Selig retired the jersey in 1997, so the number of 42 will always be associated with Jackie Robinson and no one else. So a couple of players who were still playing with that number were allowed to see out their careers with that, and as soon as they retired, that number was officially never to be used again.
Douglas Adams.
Guess so. Didn't he do Red Dwarf? Of course, this movie also featured everyone's favourite landing pilot, Harrison Ford. And this... Yes.
Get off of my plane!
Fuck that, get off my golf course.
This movie is actually Indiana
What's this
Jones
plane
and
doing on my golf course?
It's Indiana Jones and the Stealing of Home.
Yeah, he's only in this baseball movie because he had to make an emergency landing on the pitch.
Right.
Yeah. Was there a ceiling
amazing.
that came down every time they were trying to slide in and steal the base?
The baseball was an absolutely huge boulder.
Yeah, roll right down the field.
Yes. Well, this was actually, amazingly enough, this is Harrison Ford's second only time playing a real-life character. Do you know who the first was?
Oh, didn't he play? Didn't he play like a real life president, something like FDR or something like that?
Nope.
No. Okay, in that case, I don't know that.
The other movie that he did where he played a real life character was K-19: The Widowmaker. directed
Oh, shit.
by Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Get off my submarine!
It's pretty much. Did you ever see? Did you guys ever see the Harrison Ford video where David Blaine was in his house and made something disappear?
Your car just left the deck. Just now.
And then David Blaine went to his house and he was in the kitchen.
His agent's number.
Yep. He was in the kitchen and he made something disappear, and then Harrison Ford looks down at it and looks and sees that it's gone, and then he just looks at David Blaine and goes, "Get the fuck out of my house." It's one of the funniest videos, and David Blaine's just like, "And I'm gone," and he just leaves.
Well, 42, this movie does hold a record. So it holds the record for the highest box office opening weekend for a baseball movie. And as a curious link to the Last Anniversaries movie, the movie it beat for that prestigious honor was The Benchwarmers.
Hilarious.
Okay.
A real sports movie versus a fake sports movie. That would be like Any Given Sunday beating The Replacements.
Yes. Unfortunately, I have to break it to a lot of people out there that Jackie Robinson was not actually the first black baseball player. That was Moses Fleetwood Walker in 1884. Jackie Robinson was actually the fourth African American baseball player after Weldie Walker and William White. But Jackie Robinson can lay claim that he was the first African American baseball player of the 20th century.
Lots of W's going on there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's a hell of a lot of W's. No surprise here. Spike Lee tried to make a Jackie Robinson biopic in 1995 with Denzel Washington to play Jackie Robinson. I keep saying Jackie Robinson because I don't want to say fucking Smokey Robinson. I'm really fucking up.
Also a different movie.
Or Jackie Wilson.
Also a different movie.
Yeah.
Denzel's like, this is not what I signed up for.
Jackie Brown?
man.
Shit. Wrong movie.
But yes,
Why
they
is
wanted
Pam
to do it
Grier
in
playing baseball? What's going on?
Yeah, they wanted to do it in 1995 to coincide with the 50th anniversary of the breaking of the color barrier. But unfortunately, they just could not get any traction on that movie. In 2004, Robert Redford, tied to Indecent Proposal here, Robert Redford also tried to produce a biopic of Jackie Robinson. in 2004. That didn't come to pass. After watching this movie again this week, and it is a fabulous movie. It really is. It really is a great movie. But it does have that movie of the week feel that a lot of movies that came out 10 years ago that were biopics tended to look like.
A lot of biopics in general do. You either hit one, not even to use the pun, but you either hit a home run with it, or it's kind of like that, like, all right, like it was, yep, good for you type of movie, like a very much like it was passable, it was fun, but yeah.
Exactly. You know, it doesn't take away the fact that it is a great film. It's historically inaccurate in a lot of places, but I know that Harrison Ford has gone on record. He has said that he was very proud of his role as Branch Rickey, was his character name, mainly because he didn't have to fly, I guess. The film was obviously a hit. I've been breaking the records. The film cost $40 million to make, and it made $97 million domestically.
Nice.
It probably made more because this film was re-released following Chadwick's death just recently.
Right.
So they did re-release this movie, and obviously it's made probably a shit ton more money since then.
It is a very good movie.
Time slightly further back in, was it movie 52 that the Farrelly did?
Oh, you mean
movie 43? Yeah.
40. Yeah. That
What
was
a
what
magnificent
I
piece
got.
of shit.
Yeah, that movie. Holy shit.
I say, when we eventually get our Partywood t-shirts, we need one of Jonas with magnificent piece of shit.
Yeah, I would do that in a heartbeat. Absolutely. Yeah. The only movie that movie 43 is like there's it's much worse, like hidden stepbrother of a movie called Inappropriate Comedy, and it's almost the exact same movie, except it's directed by the ShamWow guy. And it's, yeah, you thought movie 43 was bad. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay. Right. Well, we've got 3 movies out the anniversaries for this time around, and none of them I've seen. And I know, Andy, that you're completely nonplussed by that whatsoever.
No. Well, I can tell you that 42 will be in the box.
Well, speaking of what's in the box, it's that time of the show again.
What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box?
Steve.
Yes.
Explain the rules of what's in the box, please.
Okay, what's in the box? Now, you might have heard us refer to Certified Fresh movies in this episode. Well, Andy's going to pull out the name of a movie which is Certified Fresh from a box. Now, if I have seen it, then he's going to keep pulling out names of movies until we find one that I haven't seen, and then I've just got to go away and watch it before we record the next episode. Easy. Simple.
And with that, can we have our music, please? Thank you. Oh, the music just gets tenser and tenser because we don't know whatever we pull out if he has seen or not. We have the rule of 5 at the moment. We have gone 5 movies that he has seen.
Mm-hmm.
We've never gone past that before hitting one that he hasn't. Last week,
first one out of the box. No, it was the first one out of the box.
Was it the first one?
Straight away.
There you go. Okay. Well, the first one I pulled out this week. Steve.
Okay.
Have you seen The Adventures of Baron Munchausen?
Oh, yeah, I love that film.
Okay. 1 down.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
It's usually how this works.
Hadn't seen that one.
Yeah, was it John Noble? The guy that played Baron Munchausen?
No, it was John Neville.
John Neville, that's it.
Okay. Choice number 2. Have you seen, Steve? I know the answer because I know the year.
It's 2007, isn't it?
It's 2007.
I don't even need to. We might as well just watch whatever it is right there. Come on.
Yeah. Okay. I think Jonas will approve of this. And I know Bill Daly will as well. Have you seen David Cronenberg's Eastern Promises?
Oh, that's a good one.
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, that is your movie for next week.
You are in for a disturbing treat, sir.
That's Viggo Mortensen, isn't it?
Yes. All of him.
Oh yeah, that's some of the nastiest Viggo Mortensen has been.
Get to see Elendil.
You'll get to,
don't we?
You'll see his Eye of Sauron pretty well.
Yeah, you're going to see Viggo's Mortensen for sure.
Nah, it's a great movie. Fantastic cast as well. You've also got Naomi Watts in there. You've got, is it Armin Mueller-Stahl?
I know his yogurts are great.
Yeah.
It's one of the few. This is one of the few Cronenberg movies that's not a body horror film.
Oh, excellent.
It's weird.
Right. Well, we've got that to kick off the show next week. Before we say goodbye to our guest, Jonas Barnes. Jonas, what have you got coming up at the moment? You got any shows coming up? Plug it. This is now your opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. My shows are usually in Brooklyn at my home club called The Tiny Cupboard, and I have a show every last Thursday of the month, and also you can see me all the time there. It's my home club, it's close to my house, so I perform there all the time. And if you want to keep up to date on me, follow me on Twitter at Jonas Barnes or on Instagram at Jonas Barnes Comedy.
Sweet.
Awesome. I also want to do a little interjection here as well, because last week we did the Alex Proyas, not Prius, Steve.
We're not doing that joke 3 weeks on the trot.
No. But we did his Dark City episode, and I saw a post from him earlier on, and I did mention that I would mention this on the show. He is currently running a Kickstarter campaign for a short film called Dark Sister. Which he is leading up to crowdfunding for a feature called RUR. So have a look for that on Kickstarter and donate some money to a true artist.
He rules.
Trying to get his movies done.
Yeah, he's great.
Rossum's Universal Robots, by any chance?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So, yes.
I do know some shit.
So, yes. Dark Sister, they're kind of looking for the completion money for it now that they're doing on Kickstarter. You've seen Alex Proyas. We've mentioned it last week. The Crow, iRobot, Dark City, all of these fabulous movies that he's done. And, you know, we can spare Gods of Egypt because that should have been a better movie.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault.
What we'll do is we'll put the link to, even though he's got absolutely nothing to do with the show, Alex, it'd be great if you could come on, but we're just going to stick the link for his details for his Kickstarter just down below, so hop over to that. If you're after our details, then they're just popping up from below. You can join us on facebook.com/Poddywood. You can hit us up on Twitter at Poddywood. You can catch us on the r/Poddywood subreddit. You can join us on LinkedIn. And you can also catch us on Patreon. Andy, tell them what they win on Patreon.
Okay, for you lucky fuckers who actually sign up to our Patreon and subscribe, you get to listen to audio-only versions of these episodes just prior to our video episodes dropping. So you get the exclusive, you know everything before the general public decides to go on YouTube and watch it. And it's the price of a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
So, and also, come on, guys, we would like some subscribers. Okay? It's below here on YouTube. You can go on Facebook and follow the page there. It's nothing. It's clicking a button. Okay? You click a button, and that way we can carry on doing this. We can hopefully reach it to a level where a lot more people are interested in appearing as guests as well. Speaking of which, I guess next week we've got to mention Jen McGowan will be here on our show.
Yes.
Director of movies like Rust Creek and Kelly and Cal, also director of TV of The Purge, The Twilight Zone, Star Trek Discovery, DC Titans. We're really looking forward to having her on the show and welcoming her in. So join us for that next week.
For now, though, it is a goodbye from Jonas Barnes.
Goodbye, everybody.
It is a goodbye from me.
And it is a goodbye from me, all.
Paul, go back.
Don't do the Verhoeven. Don't do the Verhoeven.
No, you shouldn't do the Verhoeven. No, nein. Voice my handy.
I pray to God we get him on the show one day. Paul, please come on.
I listened to the episode. You guys made fun of me. It was great.
Yes, what is this? What is that? What is that stupid voice that you keep on doing all of the time? What is this shit?
I like Robin Williams too.
No, I did not make the room. That was the other guy.
Yes.
Well, we'll see you next week for Eastern Promises and for the Jen McGowan special as well. And catch you soon, guys.
Bye.